Imam Mikal Saahir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was born in Elijah Pool, just at the end of the 19th century in Georgia, who part of the Great Migration came north to Detroit and met a man in the late 1920s, a man named W.D. Farad or Wali Farad. Mr. Farad had a number of names, and from that he joined Farad's group, the Nation of Islam, and was later listed to the position of Supreme Minister, later on listed to become the messenger of Allah, or Allah who came in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad. So he went from a very meager background from the South in Georgia to the Depression of Detroit, on to lead one of the major African American movements of the United States of America. And he, along the way, was able to groom hundreds of thousands. But in my book, I showed four men. Thus the title of the book, The Man Behind the Men.
And who were those men? Who were those four?
Those four men are his son, Wallace D. Muhammad, Minister Malcolm X, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the boxing champ, Muhammad Ali.
All of those men were protégés of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Yes, sir. Those are four of the most known. Yes, sir. And the reason why I chose those four because all four of them are known on an international level. And I thought it was quite significant and important to discuss Elijah Muhammad through them. Because Elijah Muhammad has yet to be shown in a full light or a proper light. And the movies and the historians so far have not done what I think is justice to him. So I decided to try to talk about him through these four men that he produced, which I think gives the reader a more comprehensive picture of Elijah Muhammad, because what he produced is very significant in the African American community, the American community, and rather than being known internationally, it allows Elijah Muhammad through them to be known through the international world.
You know, when you mentioned the four men, Imam Wallace D. Muhammad, Minister Malcolm X. Shabazz, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and Muhammad Ali, and how well known they are, and their fame is worldwide and international. Indeed, Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali have both had feature films about them, and as I recall, in those films, Mr. Muhammad was not portrayed in the kindest light, even though his influence on those two men really must be considered pretty profound.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's why, as a matter of fact, those two movies, and I mentioned both movies in my book, those movies became fire to motivate me to write this book even more. I know in Hollywood they have what they call theatrical license and to do what they feel they need to do. Still, they only wanted to show, or chose to show the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a recluse, as someone removed from the everyday life of African Americans, as someone who was even bitter and conniving or controlling. And I'm like, I said, how long do we sit back and allow these incorrect, incomplete images to be shown of this great man who lived in a very controversial country? And so he came back, or he was given to Mr. Farad a very controversial remedy. I say, it's time, I think, we into the 21st century, that the man has been dead since 1975, over 37 years. It's time for us to have a discussion about him, about his life, in a holistic way. Not that we all going to agree, that's not the point, but that we at least can become educated and enlightened as to what he done, why he done it, and in what context did he do it in, and see what does that also can make America and the world better today. But to disregard him or marginalize him because you don't like how he said it or what he said, that's not the point. Hello, you there?
Yes.
Oh, no, I just heard a beat. That is not the point. The point is that this man done an amazing accomplishment. Nobody else has taken African American men and women, because I only used it for a man, but there are men and women who he has taken from very meager, sometimes very difficult life, and made them shining examples in their communities, and their families, and in our nation. And have done what nobody else has been able to do with African Americans. Dr. King, I love him. And I listen to some of his speeches, and I really marvel at the wisdom that he had at a young age. But like Muhammad's men, and so I mentioned, they are still quoted. They still have a following. They are still producing new people and new life. And Dr. King's men, though I'm sure they were great men, Dr. Ralph Abernathy, Ambassador Andy Young, and so on, they have not produced, or they are not producing communities, businesses, schools, as those four men, as like Muhammad made. So it tells me that there was a potency, there was a life, an organic life in the message of Elijah Muhammad that produced whole communities, whole lifestyle. Now, I am not one that believes, as I once did believe in the fullness of the message of Elijah Muhammad, because myself Muslim, and I have grown, I would say. But I've grown to where I feel more than a picture of Islam. But it's not for him where I have been able to have the foundation to grow. You have to recognize, as the Quran says, recognize the womb that bore you. And Elijah Muhammad was a womb that bore not just these four men, but tens, hundreds of thousands of people, and they are still producing more.
We're speaking with Mikal Saahir. He's the author of The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, The Man Behind the Men. The men are Wallace D. Muhammad, Malcolm X. Shabazz, Louis Farrakhan, and Muhammad Ali, all products of Mr. Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam. When you speak about needing to have a conversation, you'll be having a conversation at a lecture and book signing on Saturday from 2 until 4 p.m. at Dar es Salaam Books and Health Center on at the Hampton Mall in Capitol Heights, Maryland, as well as participating in Juma prayer at the New Africa Islamic Community Center, 1628 Good Hope Road in Southeast Washington. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to being there and with the city, Washington, D.C., and the people, and looking forward to having the conversation there. Now, because I'm looking to learn from others who may have more insight than myself, and I'm anxious to share what I have been able to research as well.
Another interesting component of your book, your book deals with people who are not just African American involved in the Nation of Islam. Talk about that a little bit.
You mean those who are Muslim?
That's correct.
But the African American Muslims are not in the Nation of Islam? Yes. Those people, I am witnessing a change of heart in their conversations. At one time, very difficult right after the assassination of Malcolm X, and there was a lot of tension within the African American Muslim community between those who were in the nation and those who were not in the nation. But the last, I think, 10 years, maybe longer, they have been coming together. those who, they call themselves the old guard, or historically African-American Muslims, but they were not in the Nation of Islam. And I think that we have all grown in our understanding. And so I think at one time there was a very difficult relationship, but that has gotten much better. There's still room for improvement, and I hope that this book will help to also give a foundation for that conversation to take place. Because there's some things about Brother Malcolm that were fantastic, and some things that Malcolm needed improvement on. There was some things about the Honorable was fantastic, and some things that needed to be improved upon. But if we can sit down and have an honest conversation, not trying to change one another, not trying to argue, but just trying to be respectful for each other. That's the intent of the book, is we create a respectful environment to share about him, and not just him, because there are many others. We have Joe Ali, we have Marcus Garvey. These men are kind of hanging in ambiguity, and that's not fair for us or our next generation.